Daryl Washington and attorney Bhavani Redrivan, who gives us hope for the future of civil rights in America as we face uncharted territory in America. Attorney Brooke Cluse, attorney Gabrielle Higgins, attorney Tony Romanucci, and all the great lawyers who have worked on this case, we stand proudly with this family, the family of Botham Jean, who was one of the best lights for the world. And before the lawyers address you, that being Attorney Washington, Attorney Bhavani, and finally you will hear from the family, and then we'll take your questions. They, for 6 years, have been trying to share with the world who Botham Jean was. All the activists who chanted, "Be like Bo." All those who came to the criminal trial. All those who were with us with the civil journey against the apartment complex. All the way to this day. His sister Alyssa, who cried herself to sleep many nights, right, Reverend Barry? Came to this moment to say everybody in Dallas, everybody in Texas, everybody in America get to see the light, which was Botham Jean. And even though he's not with us here today, this verdict tells us that his light still shines down on us in America and in St. Lucia and all over the world. And so, Attorney Daryl Washington, who was brilliant in his advocacy and arguments in the court, along with Bhavani, along with Gabrielle Higgins, and along with Brooke Cluse. And Colton. So Attorney Washington, you want to go first, and everybody let me define for last.
Yeah, first of all, the family understands and realizes that no matter what we do, it's going to bring both of them back. But I think what the jury showed everybody today is that both in life matters. And this is what was important to the family. We've gotten to the question over and over, well, how are y'all going to collect from Amber Guyger? We got that question. That was not important. What was important was holding Amber Guyger civilly liable for what she did to both of them. I think this jury sent the message loud and clear that they are not going to tolerate police brutality. And I think that message is going to be heard not only in Dallas, not only in the state of Texas, but throughout this country. And that is important. Botham was in his house. Botham was eating ice cream and watching a football game. Botham was not committing a crime. He was not trying to harm anyone. You should be safe in your own home. And I think this jury made it very clear. Home is the place that we should feel protected. So we are very pleased. I think the family is pleased. I mean, Bo was the best of the best. And I'm gonna tell you, one of the most difficult things about these cases is that we hear all these wonderful things about Bo, but we never get a chance to meet him. That's the thing that is just so very hard and so very sad. So we are very happy that this jury has spoken, and we're gonna continue to work. But let me just be very clear, and I think this is a message that needs to be heard. We have spoken about qualified immunity for years, but I think we need to look at the issue of Monell liability. The city of Dallas hired Amber Guyger. The city of Dallas was responsible for training Amber Guyger. On the night that Botham was killed, the city of Dallas and the police officers protected Amber Guyger. But yet when you have a situation like this, they kick police officers under the bus and they run away from the liability of this. That needs to change. and it will change.
Amen. Thank you very much, Daryl, for your brilliant advocacy. And I know you, Lee Merritt, and others for 6 years been fighting this battle.
Yes, absolutely.
And now for this young lady who just worked day and night and day, Bhavani Ravitran, with the Ramanucci Blandon Law Firm. It was a privilege to argue for Botham's life along with you.
I want to thank my law firm and especially Colton Johnson Taylor and our whole team back at the office who have been an amazing support. But more than anything, I want to thank this family for trusting us. Allison always said that she just wants more people to say Botham's name because it gives her joy. And thanks to you all and the coverage that we get, thanks to this judge and this jury and the people of Dallas that came here to jury selection and put their trust in this family, his name is going to live on. It's going to be known and remembered with this number. And we hope you can all take a little bit of the joy and the love and the light that Botham was home with you, because I will remember this case and this family for my life.
Thank you so much, Bhavani. The final attorney you will hear from is Attorney Brooke Cluse, who, when we heard the verdict announced, $98,650,000, she went into a gospel hymn saying, "Victory is mine." So, Attorney Cluse.
Thank you, Attorney Crow. On behalf of the Jean family and the attorneys that prosecuted this case, we just want to say thank you to the jury. They valued Botham's life, which we know there is no dollar amount that could bring back or even value such a wonderful human being. But they saw value in his life, and we just want to thank them for that.
Thank you so much, Attorney Cluse. I would be remiss if we didn't have the youngest lawyer of the team, who was also brilliant, Attorney Gabrielle Higgins, address you before we hear from this beautiful family.
Thank you all so much for coming. I think the hardest thing for the jury to do is to place a number, a monetary amount on the value of life. But this process, the honor of representing this family, has given the city of Dallas another opportunity to see the life of Botham Jean and the light that that life has brought to all of us. And we are so very grateful for that. We are fighting every day at Bancroft Law to raise the value of life, to raise the value of Black life. And we believe that this jury had the courage to do that today, and we're so grateful for that. We're wearing red because that was his favorite color. And I think that it's important that we continue to allow the legacy of Botham to live on, not just here, but all over this country. And we do that by fighting the good fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. And first, we will hear from Botham's father, Mr. Bertram, and then the final word will come from his mother, Miss Allison, and then we will take your questions. Mr. Bertram.
Good afternoon. It is amazing. Today is a great day for us, for my family and I want to say thank you first to our attorneys who fought a good fight and we finished the cause. Today it is a day that I am a bit consoled. I am still heartbroken over the loss of my son. A city, Dallas, where he said he loved so dearly. However, he lost his life right in that city. But today I think justice was served, and we are very thankful, and we pray that it will be a lesson for the authorities. But we just happy today that justice was served. Life goes on. We will miss our Bo dearly. I can understand the thought of him not being around, but his memories, the wonderful things he did in this life, this gives me joy. And know that he was loved by so many, this gives me joy. So I'm just grateful for what happened today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bertram. And then for the woman who has been the rock throughout this whole ordeal, not only for her family, but also for her legal team, who we feel like family. Miss Allison, we love you, and victory is ours today. Miss Allison.
I just got some text messages from Botham's grandmother, and one says, "Touch not the Lord's anointed, nor do his prophets any harm." That's how my mom feels today. She said, "I'm sad, but I'm glad." The verdict today symbolizes what the jurors saw as the value that Botham brought to this world. They had to put it in monetary terms. I cannot feel it in monetary terms because I know how precious he was to me. But it sends a signal to the world that his life mattered.
Yes.
And this is the value that Botham could have brought to you in Dallas. He could have brought to us in St. Lucia. So even from his family perspective, we knew that value. And I believe that value is much more. But at least you would understand what he meant to the world. Botham left our tiny island St. Lucia to seek better opportunities in the United States. He came to Dallas, a city which he loved. But Dallas was unkind to him. And so what I would like to leave with you is find out from your city how valuable each and every one of you is, because they need to demonstrate that value by the laws that they have, how they treat their people. Because leaving Dallas, Botham left us at the hands of an employee of the city of Dallas. But that city goes away scot-free. Will they do it right? Will they do something about it? It doesn't have to be for Botham. But let's look deep. You see, sometimes we look at things on the surface, but we have to go down to the foundation and the fundamentals to ensure that you are yourself safe and that you will get value if something happens to one of your family members. At the criminal trial, I left you with one thing, Dallas. I go back to my country, St. Lucia, but you live in Dallas. And so when you go to your city council, when you go to your other authorities, what is the message that you're going to send to them to ensure that your family, if something happens to that family, that they will play it right by you?
Amen.
I want to thank my attorneys who have been with me throughout the 6 years. I want to thank Pastor Sammy Berry and the Dallas West Church of Christ, who stood with me. They've become like my blood brothers and sisters. My family at home in St. Lucia, my daughter who is on a flight as we speak because she couldn't wait until tomorrow. She had to go back to work. My son who is in St. Lucia, Brad, and so many other people who have been with us. I really want to thank you. What I wanted today is peace. Closure. Not closure to the loss of Botham, because that closure will never go away. But closure through the legal process of all of the hurdles that we had to cross to get to this point. It's been tiring having to fly from St. Lucia to Dallas so many times. But today's verdict gives me some consolation that you saw the value of both of them. So it didn't only come from what we knew inside, it came from you appreciating what we've presented to you as a son who we brought into the world and one who wanted to serve mankind, to serve the Lord, and to serve everybody around him. So all I could say is to adopt the slogan that was capped by his peers at PwC, to be like you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alice. Be like so. And before we go to questions, we join Babani and Daryl and all the other lawyers in thanking Judge Lynn for presiding over these proceedings and thanking the jury for their very careful deliberations. As I told our counsels, in many ways I was happy that the verdict wasn't for a $100 million round number. It was $98,650,000 because it demonstrates that the jury carefully deliberated and considered all the evidence. And so victory is ours today.
Victory is ours. Victory is ours.
Questions?
Mr. Washington had said to the jurors that it's insulting to them that Amber Guyger chose not to be here in person. I would like to know from Botham's mommy and daddy, do you take that as well as an insult to this process, to listening to your stories again and her explaining why she killed your son?
Absolutely. It just shows that she didn't take accountability for her actions. And she failed up to now to reach out to our family and say anything. All she's done is appeal her conviction, which showed that she still does not accept that she didn't take responsibility for Botham's life.
I'm Sean Robb's secretary. Hi, he's on TV right now, but I'm going to ask a question on his behalf. This is nearly double what you were asking for. Could you just have a response to that?
Senator Washington.
I mean, I think the jury sent the message.
I'm so sorry, sir.
The jury sent the message loud and clear. I mean, we told the jury that we generally don't want to place a life on our children's head, but in this situation here, I think it was very important for this jury to show everybody that Botham really mattered. I think it sends a message loud and clear that you're going to be safe at home. And that's what that message is all about, because we know that there have been so many other similar cases to Botham's case where individuals have been in their home and they have ended up Breonna Taylor, a lot of people, and they ended up dead. I think this sends a message that you should be safe at home.
And I wanted to ask Mrs. Jean a question. What I am taking away from this today is that this has never been about money.
Never been about money. It's about accountability. It's about the value of a life.
You want people to know that Botham's life mattered.
Mr. Washington, you spoke about the liability for the city of Dallas. Obviously, they were dismissed as part of this case. Is there any recourse, is there any further action that can be taken against the city at this point?
I mean, obviously, we're looking at that right now. You know, we want to cherish the moment of what happened today, but we remain loud and clear that this family should have not had to go through this for 6 years. I mean, it makes no sense when you have something like this. When we saw that Amber Guyger, we asked the officer a question during trial. We say, had Amber Guyger been a normal citizen, not a Dallas police officer, would you have detained and arrested her? He said yes. So we know that Amber Guyger was receiving the protections of the city of Dallas. The city of Dallas is very disheartening that in 6 years, they haven't just really taken the time to sit down with his family and say, we're sorry for what happened to both of them. They've never done it, and that is just so very important. They fought this family instead of apologizing to this family. And I think this is what hurt them so much, because both of them love Dallas. He loved Dallas so very much, and I think Botham was one of the best of the best. And Dallas lost out when we lost somebody like Botham. So for them to treat this family like this, it's truly insulting. It's truly insulting, and it just needs to stop. I mean, because the city of Dallas could have put this to bed 6 years ago.
And it do beg the question that people all over America ask: if the roles were reversed, what will Dallas have done for Amber Guyger? Has she been in the apartment and both of them came into the wrong apartment and shot her? Would Dallas have acted differently? Many of us believe they would have, and that is what is so disturbing to Botham's family and many people all across America.
Did the jurors, when you guys spoke with them, if the Jeans want to say anything in particular, but did they say if they were hung up on anything in those 3 hours?
We didn't really have those type of conversations. I mean, it was a very emotional time, not only for the family, but for us.
And they were crying, and people really understood Botham was special. He was special.
Did those 12 jurors perhaps allow you all a different perspective of Dallas than what you all have gotten to see?
Absolutely. They saw what a life meant, especially a life like Botham. So I think there's good everywhere. I don't dispel that, the people of Dallas are not.
The city disappointed you, but do you feel the support of this community?
Absolutely. I feel the support of the Dallas community. From the day I flew in here on September 7th, there were already protests and vigils and all sorts of things. So I feel the warmth of the city, of the community, but the institutions within that city that are supposed to do better have not come through.
And, I always ask the city leaders, the mayor, the city council members, I ask them the question, what if it was their child? How would they feel? Would they have that same emotion about the situation? That's the question we always want to answer, because not one city council member have come out here to talk to this family. And that would have meant a whole lot to this family.
Can you explain?
And I would say this, she asked a profound question. It's as if this mayor and the city leadership could learn a lot from the jurors, the citizens of Dallas, because they treated this family much more kinder than the city leadership has.
Can you explain? I know you have turned Bo's legacy into something that is impacting people across the world. If you do come into any money at any point from this woman, what are the plans for that money?
Well, the Botham Jean Foundation has been established now. It's 5 years, and we continue to give back to our country, to Dallas, to New York. We give scholarships to students who are not as privileged. We've given skills training to young ladies, young men. We look after the Delinquent Boys Center, the orphanage, and the senior citizens' homes, homeless shelters. So whatever we do is to continue Botham's legacy, and for me, that's my labor of love. So if you see a smile on my face when you ask me that question, it's because that's what I want to do going forward. And so whatever funds that we have, we divert it to helping others, because that is what Botham started. It didn't start from us. That's what he did while he walked this earth. Botham drove me. The first day that I got to Dallas in 2016, he drove me around and showed me a park that had homeless people. And he said, "Mommy, I wish I could take all of these people into my home." That's who Botham was. And so we want to continue that legacy because it's rich, it's positive, and it's one that will make the world a better place.
Amen.
Thank you.
I know you said it doesn't matter and the money is not important, but for people who don't understand how the legal process works, at least for the attorneys, what would getting this money look like for someone who is in prison and has nothing?
I mean, she didn't even have an attorney. She says she doesn't have money, so how does that work?
I mean, again, we want to make sure when Amber Guyger is released from prison, that Amber Guyger is not going to have a life that she is just going to be able. She's not going to have a normal life. All right, she's not going to be able to capitalize on anything that she may have gotten from this case. So again, we say that over and over. The family understands. This is just part of the process that the family understood that we needed to go through. The thing that Bertram and Miss Allison said is that they never want another mother or father to have to ever deal with what they had to go through. And they understand that if they didn't finish this fight, then they would have not been doing what Bo wanted them to do to protect other people.
But just a housekeeping thing, like literally, how does it work? She has to tell someone how much money she has and if she's ever access to her checking account. I don't know. I'm just thinking how does this work?
Let me just say this, and I really don't want to get into this, but let me just say this. I would really have to think second. I have to think long and hard before I want to be a police officer with the city of Dallas if they did me the way they do their officers. I mean, so to not provide a legal defense, I think every police officer should really be concerned when they're putting their lives on the line. How much is the city of Dallas going to really protect them? And I think this Amber Guyger case shows that when it comes down to it, the city of Dallas is only concerned about the city of Dallas. They're not even concerned about their police officers.
On that note, sorry, I know you talked a lot about expressing disappointment in city leadership. You kind of just touched on it, but are there any other policies or practices that you want to see Dallas change that you saw in this case that you think are just particularly necessary to change?
Like we said over and over, the city needs to be vicariously liable for the acts of its employees. That law needs to change, because if it was any other private organization or public organization and their employees harm somebody during the course and scope of their duties, that organization would be vicariously liable. So until we get those laws changed, then the city of Dallas has absolutely zero incentives to make sure that they're putting the right police officers on the street. Because they understand that they can put a bad police officer on the street, that police officer harms someone's child, and they have zero accountability. So with zero accountability, there's no incentive for them to change.
And to bring it even closer to home, there's no deterrence here. And today, it was Bertram and Allison's child. What happens next time when it's your child? That's why you should hold the leadership accountable in this matter. It's just sad because you can see it happening to another child of Dallas unless there's some deterrent in it.
Then less than a month or so after Botham's death, we had the same thing happen in Fort Worth. Miss Jefferson was at her home and she was killed at her home. She wasn't committing a crime or anything. So that continues to happen, but it's not going to stop until we hold these municipalities fully accountable.
So there's no way to make any type of bad faith claim against the city?
You can keep appealing. However, the lawyers are going to do everything within our power that we can do. But really, this becomes a challenge for all of us being co-counsels for Botham. Go to your mayor, go to city council meeting and say, we demand more from you. We expect more from you. Don't try to sweep it under the rug, try to act as if Botham life didn't matter. It mattered. Don't try to look away from Botham. Look at him and show leadership.
Well, and Daryl, as a North Texans, voters have now told the city of Dallas they've got to hire 900 more.
Right.
Does that terrify you?
It scares me, and it should scare everybody, because having to hire 900 more police officers means that they're just going to go out there, they're just looking at numbers. They're not concerned about whether this person is qualified. We know Amber Guyger If you look at the text messages that she was sending on the day that she killed Botham, you know that Amber Guyger was dealing with mental issues. We know that Amber Guyger was involved in another shooting incident. Look at her records and find out, did the city of Dallas require her to go through any type of mental health counseling? So this is going to be an issue with 900 more police officers on the street. That's scary. That really becomes scary.
Thank you all so much.
Victory is mine. Victory is mine.
Victory today is